Welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me as always is my super hot girlfriend, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here at Massive Late Fee. It's our last episode before Thanksgiving.
Is it really?
Yes, it's because it is, did I say it's November 23rd, 1996?
It just seems like Thanksgiving should be further away.
Thanksgiving, about 5 days from now. Gobble,
Wow.
gobble, gobble.
So, what are you looking most forward to with Thanksgiving?
That's a very good question. Am I looking forward to... I mean, the Lions aren't having the best season in the world this year, so... Sorry to talk about sports, everyone. I know you guys hate when I talk about sports and politics.
No, I hate when you talk about sports.
But I would say what I'm looking forward to the most is spending time with family.
Aww.
And stuffing.
I am looking forward to your macaroni and cheese.
I am making macaroni and cheese.
He makes the best macaroni and cheese.
I have quite a macaroni and cheese recipe. I'm not going to lie. It is good. It rivals, I don't know. What's a famous macaroni and cheese? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I can't say Kraft because that's the most basic macaroni and cheese ever.
Yeah, it's way better than Kraft.
But it rivals Paul Prudhoe.
Sure.
I assume he makes some macaroni and cheese. You know what else is very filling?
I'm afraid to ask.
Gasoline in your car when you fill up your tank.
Okay.
And gasoline prices are floating up.
Sure.
Oil demand, it says. So right now, the average cost of gas statewide is $1.28 a gallon. We're creeping up to close to $1.50. No good. No good at all.
That is just crazy.
I'm telling you what, I'll never pay $1.50 a gallon for gas.
So what are you going to do? Walk? Take the bus? What?
I'm not paying it. I would like.
Good luck.
I guess they do kind of have us by the short and curly hairs, huh?
Especially here in the Detroit area, we have no real mass transit.
Right. But the average from 1990 to 96 here. So in 1990, we were going through a bit of a economic crisis, if everyone remembers. It was $1.38 statewide, so more than it is now. But then $1.13 in 91, $1.12 in 92, $1.05 in 93, $1.12 in 94, $1.07 in 95, and now we're up to $1.28.
Wow.
No good.
Oh, well.
Fall is here, and that usually means things come down. The leaves have fallen, the mercury too. By now, gas prices should have fallen, but they haven't.
But it doesn't mean that they usually fall down because the holidays are coming and people are traveling and they hike up gas prices right before the holiday.
There's no place like home for the holidays. Yeah, but it's not price fixing or anything like that. They're not. It's not collusion. Don't worry.
No, of course not.
Don't worry, everybody. The gasoline companies would never fuck people over. How about this? It's critically acclaimed, Carol, but generally ignored.
What?
It's not that Paul Sims. Wait, what the fuck? It's not that Paul Sims minds the glowing reviews for news radio. News radio.
I know you love news radio.
He adores them, but he also would enjoy some glowing bit-kissed Nielsen ratings. I don't know what that means. Hit-kissed, maybe? Nielsen ratings? It's hard to read this. Anyway, they want better ratings. They're a critical darling. All the critics love the show, but people are like, I'd rather watch Tim Allen go, rah, 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 rah.
Right? Or, Al Bundy put his hand down his pants. Sure.
Exactly. The pablum of the plebes in society.
What a world we live in.
No, you guys are cool. Everyone that listens to our show is cool.
Of course.
I'm sure you guys.
You have taste.
I'm sure you guys all love news radio. It's Phil Hartman, man.
It's fine.
Oh, fuck. See, you're the problem. You
Thanks.
are the problem.
You're the problem.
I love news radio. And when you hit your knees tonight, tell God to love it too.
Wow.
What?
That was almost dirty.
Well, speaking of... Oh, wow. That's not where I was going. But speaking of hit TV shows, though, The Larry Sanders Show. Are you familiar?
No.
Gary Shandling. I love Gary Shandling because I used to watch with my sister the Gary Shandling Show. This is the theme to Gary Show, the opening theme to Gary Show. Anyway, it was it was a good show. It was like Seinfeld before Seinfeld wouldn't exist without Gary Shandling Show.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Like his mother would never have gotten pregnant?
Correct.
Okay.
Now we've got she got pregnant watching the Gary Shandling Show.
Of course.
Despite the fact that Jerry Seinfeld was born several years before the Gary Shandling Show. But he's got a new show, the Larry Sanders Show on HBO, where he plays a talk show host. He's like a weird, slimy Johnny Carson.
Okay.
The Larry Sanders Show, Gary Shandling can start to sound like Ringo Starr. It doesn't come easy. I don't know what that means. I think this is Mike Duffy, so
More dirtiness.
I think the struggle for this show now is to maintain the quality and spontaneity, Shandling says. It's to figure out how to surprise the viewers after 70 episodes. It's really a challenge and a relative impossibility. But I know you've never seen it, I don't think, right?
No.
You're cableless, so and you don't usually come over and watch it when I'm watching it. But
We have better things to do when I come over.
that's true. But speaking of better things to do, how about better things to school? Virtual schools.
What?
Michigan districts become accessible through internet sites.
No.
He's not yet old enough to drive a car, but Alex Machikwak negotiates the information superhighway like an Indy racer. After most students have gone home on a recent Wednesday, the Grosse Pointe South High School sophomore typed line after line of what looked like gibberish into a school computer. Then, with the click of a mouse, the programming language disappeared and the screen was transformed to the computer equivalent of a glossy magazine. Welcome to the Grosse Pointe South High School, scrolled across the bottom of the screen. From this homepage, visitors can click on 8 icons for topics ranging from community information to alumni. Part billboard, part yellow pages, the Grosse Pointe South page joins a growing body of school sites on the Internet's World Wide Web. More than 50 Michigan schools and school districts have homes in cyberspace, many of them in the last 3 months. What do you think? What do you think about schools going online?
I think that it's unnecessary and a waste of time and resources.
Yeah, what are they going to put on there? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I mean, like, they send home whatever they need to know.
Yeah,
with the kid.
Exactly. Like, I don't understand why. Yeah, I don't understand. What's the point?
I mean, what are kids going to go, look at their school website after school? No. They want to go hang out with their friends at the mall. Come on.
Exactly. And we're not looking at them because we don't give a shit about anyone in school.
Yeah, we don't have kids and we are not in school, so.
I guess maybe parents would, but for what? Like, what are they going to put on there?
I don't know. They said something about alumni. Like, what? High schools don't have alumni, really.
High school alumni. The big high school alumni. I don't really understand the point of it in any way, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's cool that they can do it. Whatever.
I'm gonna go on a chat site. I'm gonna go to thebookofjob.com, like from fucking Mission Impossible. Remember that?
Yeah.
But something that is of interest, all systems go, Carol. The video game giants are slugging it out for your holiday dollars.
Uh-oh.
Which whiz-bang is worth your buck?
What? Which whiz-bag?
Whiz-bang.
Whiz-bang.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
This is written by Mike Floyd. Mike Floyd's new to us. He's the game guy.
I don't like him so far.
The Detroit Free Press has hired look at his picture. He's a youngin'. They
Is he in high school?
the Detroit Free Press has hired a columnist that is just the game guy. So good for you, Mike Floyd. So it's the PlayStation, the Sony PlayStation, versus the Sega Saturn, which whatever, versus the Nintendo 64.
Where do you fall in this?
I honestly, so I have both the PlayStation and the Nintendo 64.
Spoiled.
And I gotta say, I really like the PlayStation.
Yeah, I like the PlayStation. That's what I have. I don't have, multiple gaming systems like some people. So.
With the holidays looming, the big three of the multi-billion-dollar home video game industry are locked in the biggest battle in video game history. Now, for $199, you can have the Nintendo 64, Sega Saturn, or Sony PlayStation. Saturn debuted May 1995, 64, September. But this is the first holiday season. They've all been available.
Well, I guess we'll see who sells more.
Well, I mean, you've played the Nintendo 64 because you've played mine, and you've played Mario 64.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's, it's 360 degrees of gaming experience. It's kind of nice.
I still prefer, Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
Here's the thing. There's a Legend of Zelda game that's on the Nintendo 64 that is awesome.
Yeah.
One of the best. And I heard that there's a James Bond game they're either coming out with or it just came out with based on that movie that we did. And that's supposed to be good. I haven't played it yet, but we'll see how that. I don't know. They're whatever. But the PlayStation's got some good stuff going on. It's and the PlayStation's one of those because it's discs, so they can have more of the video style thing. Like I don't know if you remember the Sega CD.
No.
So the Sega CD is like a add-on to the Sega Genesis system,
Right.
and they had different games. They had this one game, I think it was called Night Trap or something like that.
Okay.
It was a group of girls were having a slumber party, and someone was trying to break in, and you had to there were cameras in each room, and you had to monitor different rooms, and then set traps for the guy that was trying to get the girls.
What a game.
And it was live action. It
Okay.
was like actual video.
Weird.
Right. And, well, no, it was cool. And because they're all in their underwear and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And that's the
Plot thickens.
That's what the CD things can do, right? So I anticipate that the PlayStation will have more of those kind of games. More like a mixture of movie and a video game.
Okay.
And half-naked girls. Because that's what's going to sell it.
Half-naked girls?
Yeah, don't you think?
Unfortunately, that seems to be the consensus because that's what,
Poker.
big boobed, half-naked women in video games seems to be the thing. Pretty soon, they're going to fetishize Princess Peach and
My God.
put her in some kind of skimpy thing.
Wow, yeah, that's going to happen, I'm sure.
I saw some things, okay?
You saw some things. What are you talking about?
Like, somebody made a porn of the Smurfs where Smurfette had to please all these Smurfs.
Holy shit.
Right? It was pretty, scarring and traumatizing. But
Awful.
I am sure there is
I hope your kids aren't listening to this episode, everybody.
But I'm sure that out there in the world, there is porn that contains Princess Peach.
I don't think so.
And Mario. And maybe Bowser.
And Luigi.
He can watch.
Bowser. Oh my God. Oh my. Anyway, so. Oh no. Bowser is too big.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, so. This week, we watched a nice family-friendly movie where they fetishized
Androids.
androids and, what's her name? Deanna Troi.
Did they?
Not really, no.
Okay.
She was fine. They fetishized her in the show a lot of times. She wore that low cut. She was the only one in that, like, she was wearing, like, pajamas, and it was, like, that low cut top until I think finally she got enough power from being on the show long enough where she was able to be like, can you put me in a real fucking uniform, please? Like everyone else.
Well, I mean, she was the counselor, not like crew, so I think that might have had something to do with her having a different outfit. But the doctor...
I think her boobs had something to do with her having a different outfit.
The doctor wore the same outfit as crew, so...
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, for a long time they had her in that thing.
Yeah.
Until they finally, showed it. Like, so yeah, enlightened future.
Right.
Anyway, but so we watched Star Trek First Contact.
It was all about the Borg.
Yeah, finally. So the Borg obviously are the most famous villains in Star Trek, the Next Generation's history.
You think?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's their big bad, right?
I thought, like, I don't know, the Collective or whatever.
What's that?
Q.
Oh, the Q Collective?
Yeah.
I see. Q's not really a villain, though.
I think he is.
Q goes through several different kind of like iterations. He starts off as more of like an antagonist, and then he becomes kind of like a trickster, almost like Loki. And then like Loki, I'm not sure if you're familiar with, but Loki is the trickster god of Norse mythology.
Okay.
He's, I want to say he's Thor's like half brother or full brother or adopted brother or something, but Loki's like the trickster god. And there's a character that, because Marvel Comics does like a lot of the Norse mythology things, like they have a Thor and they have a Loki there too. But that movie The Mask we saw, supposedly in the cartoon version of that, or not the cartoon, the
comic book
version of it that the movie's based on, Loki enchants that mask.
Okay.
Like that's why that's why it's all wacky and stuff like that.
I should have known that we would go down this path. I mean, we're talking Star Trek. We've opened the geeky door, and now we're talking about comic books.
No, I know.
How many steps was it to get there?
This is where I get super geeky.
Right.
But he goes through that iteration, and then towards the end, he becomes like almost like a guide for, like, he really ends up liking Picard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the final episode, All Good Things, he shows him how to save humanity and all that stuff. So
cool.
So I don't really look at him as a villain necessarily.
Okay, so the Borg.
John Delancey is awesome.
So the Borg is the big bad.
And speaking of Q is the one that shows them the Borg.
Oh yeah.
At first. And I can't remember the name of the episode. I remember the episode The Neutral Zone. They saw the colony that had all the rips in the surface that the Borg just like scooped people out.
Ew.
But they didn't know it was the Borg at the time. And then I think it's called, maybe it's Hidden Q or Q Who, or they like every episode he was in had some like pun name, right?
Okay.
So it was one of those. I think it was Q Who maybe, where he came in and he was like, "Hey, the collective kicked me out. I want to join the crew," and they're all like, "No, you're too dangerous. You're too." And he's like, "Oh, you need me for the stuff you're gonna come against." And they're like, "Yeah, we can handle it." And he's like, "Oh yeah," and he snaps his fingers and sends them like 10,000 light years or whatever away from Earth, and then they end up encountering the Borg.
Wow.
And they only survive because he intervenes. Because Q saves them from the Borg.
Okay, so he's not a villain. He just likes to play with them.
And then, yeah, exactly. And then in the best of both worlds,
we will talk about the movie eventually, I promise.
And then in the best of both worlds, that's when Picard gets turned into Locutus because he gets captured by the Borg.
Yes. It's a good episode.
Yeah. And so I think people were very excited that the Borg was going to be the villain of this film. because it's the what Picard has a person. This is the villain that Picard has a personal attachment to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they did some stuff to him.
And then they kind of ruined the Borg in this movie. A little bit.
Okay.
The Borg Queen, as she's credited, they don't actually ever call her that in the movie, but in the credits it says Borg Queen.
Right.
Played by Alice Krige.
She seems awfully horny for an android.
Oh, holy shit, she is.
It's really gross. She's gross.
She wants to fuck Data.
She does fuck Data.
Do they? Oh, yeah, that's right. They have sex.
I assume.
Away.
I mean...
They cut away, but...
Which really bothers me.
That he fucked her?
Well, especially because he was just playing along.
Yeah.
So
he thought about it for 0.687 seconds or whatever he says.
Maybe that's how long it took to have sex with
Right,
her.
maybe that's how long it took for the orgasm. And afterwards he was like, wait, I have clarity now because I've...
Right.
But, yeah, the whole point of the Borg is that a single leader can make mistakes that the whole won't. Mm-hmm. That the collective, and they're harder to defeat because it's a collective. It's, there's no singular head to take out. Mm-hmm. And then they ruin it by creating a singular head.
Interesting.
And she was like, "Oh, I was there the whole time. You remember?" And it's like then they're trying to retcon the best of both worlds episode and everything. It's like she was not there in that episode.
So there was never a Borg Queen till this movie?
Correct.
Interesting. I didn't really realize that.
Yeah. And what this smacks of. This smacks of some fucking executive seeing the movie and being like, "You need a singular villain though. This movie needs a villain to because take her out of the movie. Take her out of the movie. Take the whole thing with Data out of the movie, and all of it works. All of it works, and it's better. This is a good movie. I liked this movie. I don't know how you felt about the movie.
I liked it.
But I liked the movie. But take her out, and this movie flows better. It is better. There are two plots going on in this movie, and I like both of them. One is First Contact. Basically, the story of how humanity got ushered into this larger world.
Okay.
Right? And this Zephram Cochrane... Played by the, what's his name? Hoggett? Was that his name? From Babe?
Yeah.
He was the dude from Babe.
Yes.
James, I can't think of his name now. I can't remember his name. But his character's name was Zephram Cochrane. But anyway, so James Cromwell, that's his name. He's very good in this movie.
Yeah.
And he's, it's the story of, their hero worship, and everything. The myth of the man versus the actual man, and it reminds me a little of 1776, that movie about the signing of the Declaration of Independence and everything.
Do you really think other people have watched that movie besides you?
Yes, I do. It's Ken Howard's greatest hour.
He made me watch it.
Anyway, so it's a good movie. That dude that plays Mr. Feeney's in it, William Daniels. Anyway.
Okay.
So, it's that kind of story, the myth versus the man. Mm-hmm. And it's a good story. They got to fix this thing that is supposed to happen, right? The other plot is a horror movie.
Right.
It's Star Trek as a horror film. It's shot like a horror movie. It's constructed like a horror movie. And it's really good. It's a really good horror movie because the Borg are fucking swarming the ship.
Yeah. There's that scene where they're it's towards the beginning and they first aborted the ship and, the one guy gets got and then the other lady goes in and she screams. It was just like a horror movie scene.
Exactly. And the way it's point of view shot and it's very dim lighting and there's almost smoke coming across the screen, fog. And there's a lot of... So Jonathan Frakes directed this, and I don't know if he directed a lot before. I didn't really look into it, but he does a really good job in this movie. There's a lot of like Dutch angles to kind of convey things are a little off kilter, not quite. You don't quite have your bearings. The camera takes a lot of like almost ethereal type movement and everything. It's really good.
Yeah.
The camera work, cinematography is really good in this movie. But I like that plot. I like the whole... One thing I think is funny is they bring everybody in, right? So they've got Robert Picardo, who's on Star Trek Voyager as the medical officer or whatever. He's an emergency medical officer. But he's a hologram, so he's essentially on every ship, so it makes sense. But they were like, gotta bring him in. And then they bring Worf in, who's on Deep Space Nine. And he was originally on the show, but they make it so that he can be in the show or in the movie because he's on the Defiance, Benjamin Sisko's ship, which I think is funny. The Borg are all like, hey, we're gonna attack Earth now. What about Sisko? What about Captain Sisko or Commander Sisko or whatever? He's off world right now. Like, dude's like, you sure? You sure he's not here? Because then they feel safe to attack because he's not there.
Right.
But anyway, so he's commanding the Defiance, and I think it's so funny. He's just like, could you imagine being the crew as Worf is commanding the ship? Because they're in this battle with the Borg, and he just goes, perhaps today is a good day to die. Imagine being a crew like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? And then he goes, prepare for ramming speed. He's just gonna, they can't destroy it, so we're just gonna hit one ship into the other. That's what we're gonna do.
He is definitely a loose cannon.
That guy that's at the helm, it's almost comedic in his performance. It's hilarious. Maybe he'd be a good comedian one day. But he's... like, because he goes, prepare for ramming speed. And he's like, hey, there's another ship coming in. And then Worf's just like, and he pauses, he's like, then you can see like the relief on his face, because I think he was just bullshitting. And he's like, it's the Enterprise. Maybe we'll be okay. And then they get beamed out, so they're all right. And then they say the Defiant's going to be okay, so it can still be in Deep Space Nine. But yeah, so I think it was funny how they bridged all the shows. Like,
right.
They had a little bit of each of the shows in there.
That's cool, yeah. I didn't know because I haven't watched like all the shows.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I really enjoyed the movie. I liked a lot of the way it was structured. I think this was a really well written script from top to bottom. I think everything melded really well together. And both plots, even though they're very separate things, because there's what's going on in the ship with the Borg taking over, which is the horror movie element, and then there's what's on the ground on Earth, which is the inspirational, we've got to help this guy because this is a big moment of humanity. And they're very different tonally. Mm-hmm. They're completely different. I mean, you've got Picard up on in the holodeck, with his Dixon Hill program, right? So he can get a gun. So he's shooting the Borg, right? And he's just coldly mowing them down until he sees that one of them, he sees the insignia or whatever, he sees the part of the uniform, that one of them was one of his crew, that he lost another crew member to this villain, this nemesis of his that he can't fucking stop ever, that keeps beating him, right? And then that's when he starts screaming and everything, and then like goes to hit him because it's all this anger and shit like that. It's a brilliant performance, and it's really well written, how he's just like coldly mowing them down till he notices it. And we don't even notice it right away. And then she points it out afterwards. She's like, hey, this is one of your crew, because she sees the uniform and everything. But he's doing it to get their little central processor or whatever, so he can see what their plans are.
Right.
So he has a plan. But there's that going on up there, right? And there's that gritty, like, just horror movie, like, it's almost like body horror in some tone, right? And then on the ground, you've got fucking Geordi being like, yeah, your statue's going to be right over here, sir. And I went to your high school, and all this stuff, right? And They're totally different tones.
Yeah.
But they work together.
You know why, though? Because Star Trek has different tones. I mean, it's always been that way where there's some, drama and some comedy together. So.
Yeah. But, it's almost amazing how it they fit. Yeah. They shouldn't fit, but they do. And it's really good. But, yeah, so I like both of the plots. What's your favorite of the things that are going on?
I don't know about favorite, but just what stuck with me, I think, the most was the stuff with Data. Mm-hmm. Like, she was grafting human skin onto him. I kind of just don't get it.
She wants to make him more human.
But
and having that, they kind of foreshadow that because they see the Phoenix, which is the name of the ship that James Cromwell's Zephyr Cochrane's going to break the warp barrier with, and Picard touches it, and Data's like confused, and he goes, it's a boyhood dream, and he's like, does your touching it make it different, like make it feel different? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, for human beings, experiencing something by touch can make it more real. It can, it can add to the experience and things like that. And Data tries it and is just like, he coldly goes down all the imperfections and the metal and everything, and he doesn't get it right. And then he gets skin grafted onto him, and she blows on it, and he gets goosebumps, and he can actually feel physical sensations, and it's a totally new experience for him.
What I meant when I said I don't get it is I don't understand how that would be possible, because he's a machine without a central nervous system. So just grafting skin on, I don't really understand how that would work.
Yeah, I don't know. Star Trek has a history of just being like, oh, whatever, we'll throw some technical words at it and no one will question it, kind of thing. Because they're caught in a temporal wake. They fight the Borg. They destroy the Borg at the beginning. They destroy the cube, which I like because it's like it's better when the Borg's not some indestructible thing, very hard to beat but not impossible. And they do eventually. They're wearing it down simply by attrition, essentially. But when they blow it up, it shoots that little ball to go back in time and kill Zephyr Cochrane or whatever, Terminator style. So that because it's a sore loser basically. But they, it starts to go back in time, and the Enterprise gets caught in a temporal wake, and they can see Earth change, so they know what the stakes are. Earth is going to be completely assimilated by the Borg and everything if they don't stop it, but yet they're still there. They haven't changed because they're caught in the temporal wake, and it's just like, okay, you're either caught in the temporal wake and you're going back in time and you can't see that shit, or you can see that shit and you're being erased from history. I feel like both things can't be true. It's just weird.
I guess that's true.
But it's like that's one of those things where it's just like, oh, we can just do it because it's magic.
Suspension of disbelief.
Right.
Yeah.
But I guess it would be tempting for him, kind of, because he wants to be human so badly.
But, again, I know with Data, it's like he's basically been made human throughout the show, but he shouldn't want anything. It just bothers me.
You know what bothers me? His emotion chip.
Uh-huh.
When he first gets it gets fused into his neural net, and it has to be surgically removed because it's overloading his sensors or something like that. And then it's a remove, to turn it off. It's it has to be. It's almost like a diskette. It's got to be removed or whatever. Mm-hmm. Now he just clicks his eye and turns it on and off. In the next Star Trek movie, it's going to be a cologne he sprays on. What the fuck?
Well, I would imagine it would get better throughout the years, though.
Yeah, I suppose. But anyway, so what is there anything you didn't like about this movie? Anything that you found objectionable?
No, I'm trying to think, and not really. I enjoyed the whole thing, and there was I'm sorry, what?
No, go ahead.
There was a lot of good humor going on, like with Deanna drinking alcohol and she had no idea, which that makes no sense to me either, though they have alcohol on the ship. She's like, I had to drink a thing called tequila.
They have Synthenol. Oh. That's another geeky thing that I know. They don't have actual alcohol. It's called Synthenol.
Does it make you drunk?
It can. You can get it to where it makes you drunk, yes. So they can get drunk, but it's different. It tastes different. It's not as strong. It's like, it's just a completely different thing.
Well, that would be disappointing.
Yeah, exactly. But because one time Bones gets Kirk Romulan ale, and he's like, ooh, Romulan ale. It's like illegal or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think the teetotalers in the future, I don't know. But yeah, I liked pretty much all of it, too. Like I said, I liked both plots work together really well. I like Picard's got this big speech. First of all, finally they get a movie that's theirs. Because in Star Trek Generations, which I did not like, which I think we did, but I didn't really like that movie. But it's like a passing of the baton or whatever.
Right.
Kirk's in it and stuff like that, and gets buried under I don't know, 4 or 5 rocks, so that the coyotes will be held off for about 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's not like they don't get to shine. The Next Generation crew doesn't get to shine, and it's their first movie, right? This is the first movie it's actually just their movie. But Picard's got this speech, which is really good. I mean, he's obviously Patrick Stewart's like a classically trained Shakespearean actor and everything, so he's good at it. But he does the whole he gets pissed off at Lily, and he's like, no, and he goes to he breaks the glass and everything, and he breaks his ship, the Stargazer, his first ship, the one that he lost, and I think means a lot to him emotionally, and he gives this speech of they invade our territory and we fall back. They assimilate worlds and we fall back. He talks about all these things. He's like, no, he goes, the line must be drawn here. I can't do it like he does it because it's very earnest and it's good. But he's like, he makes this big argument, and in the end, she's just like, no, you're all gonna die then. Because you're fucking, Captain Ahab or whatever.
Right.
You know what this is? Huh. This just occurred to me. Do you know what this is?
What?
This is Wrath of Khan.
Okay.
So, in Wrath of Khan, Kirk means that's the 90s version, Kirk.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Captain Kirk. No, Kirk, Captain Kirk meets Khan. Khan! His big nemesis or whatever, right? He becomes a big nemesis to him. And that's, there's a lot of Moby Dick.
Okay.
But the other way around. Khan is obsessed with Kirk.
Right.
Because he stranded him, right? This is that.
Yeah.
Except it's Picard and the Borg.
Okay.
So it's a lot like, I see that. And it's good. It's good like Wrath of Khan. Wrath of Khan's probably the best of those movies. This is very good film.
Yeah. I really liked it.
I would recommend it. I'd recommend you go see it. It's definitely worth a watch. I think there's a lot going on here, and all of it's good.
Watch it in the theater.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't wait for it to come to Blockbuster. Go see it in the theater. And come see us at your local mall, where we'll be doing live performances of our show at your local mall.
Okay.
We should do that. We should go to the Oakland Mall and do.
Oh, I thought you meant do a tour.
Do a live show. Do a tour of the Oakland Mall.
No.
You show us around the Oakland Mall, please.
A tour of all the malls.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could do that. Oakland Mall, Lakeside Mall, the other malls.
On that note, you guys can go ahead and write us at latefee1994@AOL.com.
Somerset Mall just opened.
check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com and share the tapes with your friends.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.